Oh, hi there. It's me, Jared Logan. Welcome to Stream of Blood. If you're just tuning in, we're just starting, so you made it right on time. I'm so happy that you're here. Stream of Blood is a streaming channel where we stream tabletop role-playing games, where our themes are violence and or mayhem. And we're so happy that you're watching us today. If you want to become an official fan of Stream of Blood, which I decided last week we are calling SOBs. If you'd like to become an SOB, you need to follow us on all of the different digital platforms. So please follow us on Twitch. Join our Stream of Blood Facebook group. We have a Reddit. We have a Reddit now. I didn't even know that. I'm just being told this. And follow us on Instagram and Twitter. On Twitter, it's underscore Stream of Blood underscore. And then you'll always know when we're doing a new stream. Our thing is that we do all kinds of games. We try to do multiple different games, often with a horror or some kind of action, violent bent to them, because those are the kind of games I like to play. And today we're playing one of my favorite games in a setting I've never played before. Today we are playing Call of Cthulhu, the role-playing game featuring the cosmic horror of the 1920s author H.P. Lovecraft. But we are playing Call of Cthulhu Dark Ages. That means that it is set in the Middle Ages, specifically the Dark Ages, in the 10th century, in the 900s, because the only thing scarier than Cthulhu is a lack of proper sanitation. What I want to tell everybody watching that what to expect here. The Dark Ages, before we really get into bringing our players in and kind of starting the story, the Dark Ages are a specific time in the Middle Ages. When people hear the Dark Ages, they think, oh, castles, the Crusades, the bubonic plague. Wrong! You're wrong! And I'll explain why. All of those things happened in the High Middle Ages, what you might say, the 1100s through to the Renaissance in like the 14 or 1500s. This game is set in the Dark Ages. The fall of Rome occurred around 400. The Romans pulled out of England, where our game takes place, in the early 400s. And after that, there was just this period where all of these different kingdoms in Britain were sort of competing with each other. The Anglo-Saxons came in. They were fighting the Celtic tribes. Then the Vikings started coming in and raiding the Anglo-Saxon settlements. So that is our setting today. We are in Anglo-Saxon England. The Vikings have been raiding and looting and pillaging the Anglo-Saxons for centuries now. And that's where our horror game is set. Yes, here we go. Oh, great. We have a map of Anglo-Saxon England there. And our game is taking place, it's taking place in Mercia, that big area right in the middle there, in the year 999 AD. So that's just to let you know what we mean when we say the Dark Ages. I think it's time to bring in our fantastic players. So I'm going to bring them in one at a time. This first guy, I've played so many games with him. He is a scholar. He is a gentleman. He is one of the best players I've played with. And he's a writer for the show Mythic Quest, Raven's Banquet on Apple TV+. Please welcome the inimitable Humphrey Ker, ladies and gentlemen.
Hello.
Humphrey, hello. How are you, sir?
I'm very well. I'm very excited to be here. This is to walk the hillsides where my people walked so many, about 1,000 years ago.
Right.
It's very exciting.
Yes, we've got an authentic Brit here. So
yeah.
You can let me know when I am pronouncing a 10th century Anglo-Saxon name wrong.
I've picked the hardest possible name to pronounce. That was one of my main objectives, was to just lay that in your path.
Tell us a little bit about your character and that difficult name.
So my character is Edgefrith of Ulster. That's how you pronounce the modern place that is spelt that way, Allenchester. Or something. Middle English, very weird, strange sound. If you've never heard it before, I urge you, go on YouTube, look up someone speaking in Middle English. It's wild. Edgefrith is the first son of a powerful Yaldaman, who is a local lord, who is a bannerman to the King of Mercia. And Edgefrith, unfortunately, due to complications with his birth, came out unable to carry a shield in the shield wall and ride a horse well and bear a stout spear in a boar hunt or any of the main things that lords of the Anglo-Saxon period wanted in their sons. And so as he is rather misshapen, he's very, very tall, but very, very thin, is unable to put any muscle onto his long bones. He was shipped off into the church, where he has developed a slightly sensitive and artistic nature. He does a lot of illustrating in sort of Bibles and things, which is principally what passes for religious art in this period. And he was sent away to Northumbria as a small boy to go and study in the various big religious centres there at Lindisfarne and Hexham Abbey and places like that. And during this time, he developed an artistic nature and also a burning hatred for his father and for his big, strong, idiot younger brother, who was given the inheritance that he felt that he deserved. And so he has recently returned to Mercia, seeking to use his position in the church to accrue power so that he may attempt to wield it and destroy his father and brother.
Perfect. Wonderful. A saga. He is a saga unto himself. And I will let you know that he is currently at Saint Swithin's monastery. That is the monastery where he lives and works, and where our story will start. But first, let's bring in our other players. She is a delight. She is a correspondent for Magic the Gathering. She has a series called How to Play, where they play all kinds of different games. And I can't wait to play with her for the first time, play tabletop with her for the first time. Please welcome the wonderful Becca Scott, everybody.
Jared, what an introduction. Thank you.
I'm good at it. It's not, I'm just like, I'm a mensch. What can I say?
Oh, such a mensch. I don't know what that means, but I agree.
Yeah, I don't know what it means either. Becca, thank you for being here. So excited to play with somebody who knows what they're doing in terms of streaming games. What can you tell us about your character, Moira?
Well, Moira of Mirth is, she was born in Mercia, but they call her of Mirth because she's quite the opposite. She's known for being rather dour and laconic. She is a hulking figure, 6 feet tall with a hunchback, so naturally she feels very drawn to Edgefrith. Edgefrith?
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah, very good.
And she knows how to ride a horse, though. She knows how to live off angling, fishing. That's a new word I learned from Animal Crossing. She sleeps beneath the stars most nights. She earns her coin through tracking. She's an excellent tracker above all else. But she does all these things, and she is a bit of a wanderer because she was cast out from her birth. She was thrown out by her uncle, Dathos, after he murdered her parents. And of course, she challenged to an ordeal, as was done in the Dark Ages. But the local priest was under the influence of Dathos's coin. And so she was cast out of her lands and sent to wander. She's the youngest child. She has 2 elder brothers, but they were taken hostage by the Elwyn clan. So they weren't there to help her when her uncle murdered her parents. And now all she wants is revenge. She seeks to curse her uncle and maybe see him dead. But of course, she is devoutly religious and a soothsayer that she was wary of course, because it goes against all that is holy. But told her that she should find a monk to swear her fealty to. And of course, that's what she's trying to do because she wants to get back at her uncle.
So she is kind of following our friend Edgefrith, sort of as a helper and a guardian, right?
I'll look after you, Edgefrith. Yeah, I got to take care of him. I got to, serve him the fish that I catch and berries that I pick, or
only on a Friday, of course. The fish, as a religious man.
Absolutely.
Yes.
There.
And I also think that a funny thing about this time period is that people, they were devoutly Christian, but they also believed in a soothsayer here, a little good luck charm there. There was a lot of superstition. So I think it's completely within our setting and within Moira's character to believe this soothsayer's claim that she must find a monk and swear to him and become his helper. I think that's going to really work out for her, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Okay, let's bring in our final player. She is an incredible comedian. She has a podcast that is absolutely stellar that I've been on one time called The Dork Forest, and she's got all kinds of albums, comedy albums that you can look up on Spotify or wherever you find your albums. Please welcome my friend Jackie Kashian, everybody.
Hello, here I am. Can you? Wow, I'm going to be a mystery compared to these. Compared to Elrith and Moira. My name
Edgefrith.
Edgefrith. God dang it!
That's okay.
I didn't perceive that choosing something difficult for Jared would be difficult for everybody.
Oh, yeah. It turns out Professor Logan and his knowledge of the Middle Ages will be more helpful. Hi. So, my character's name is Eartha. That's right. Eortha. Eartha. And she was raised by ladies. She was raised by ladies, which in Mercia as well, of course. And she was raised to be a midwife. And she was raised with the ancient ways of the lady and the land and the circles. But she keeps it under wraps, because there's a bunch of crazy Christians wandering around who would stab her in her sleep. So she has a lot of knowledge about Christianity, and she uses it a little bit as a defense mechanism. She was born in Mercia, grew up there. Her aunts, and were they her aunts, or were they just two little ladies who lived together and loved each other a lot? Anyway, so when they died, they were killed in a raid, right? Yeah. They were killed during a petty war, and so she bailed and went and ended up going to the coast for about 4 or 5 years. She had a lot of adventures right on the ocean, and she knows things. She knows a lot more about the world, the outside world, than some people do, just because of this travel and this living aside. She has her treasured possession, which is her father's knife, which is weird because who was her father? She never knew. Never knew. But he had a knife, and her aunts gave it to her. And who doesn't need an occasional knife?
That's just known. Everybody needs an occasional knife.
Got a long way in this world with a knife.
I said an oftentimes knife, personally.
It's nice. So other than that, I think, that's great. And she likes outsiders. So, Edgefrith, you're from out of town, right?
Well, I'm from here originally, but I was sent away as a young boy into the north.
That's right. Okay. So I am interested in outsiders because I think that they're more interesting than a lot of the townies.
Great. I think that, Edgefrith would count a little bit as an outsider. His monastery is going to be about a day's travel from Totberg, which is the name of the settlement we are going to be having our adventure in today. So why don't we get started? Why don't we set the scene? First, I just want to say 2 things to our players and to anybody watching to let them know kind of what to expect. And this is a good advice for playing Call of Cthulhu in general, but especially for playing any of my games, okay? This is a mystery game. So rather than slaying your enemies, as you might do in other RPGs, this game is about talking to everyone you can, visiting every location you can, finding clues, and figuring out what's going on. All right? This is also a horror game. I mentioned that some horrific supernatural stuff will be going on. So that means you might not figure out everything. The monsters might not have a secret weakness you can exploit, and you might not get a happy ending. But the rules for this game are the same as the rules for living in the Dark Ages. Surviving is winning.
All right.
So that said, let's set our first scene, our prologue. It is the year of our Lord 999, and 40 days it will be December 25th, New Year's Day, and we are at St. Swithin's Monastery on Friday morning, the 22nd of December, and Edgefrith is reading about the 6 ages of man. Do you know anything about the 6 ages of man, Edgefrith? Part of an even larger historio-philosophical idea created by Augustine of Hippo in the 5th century. And that idea is that there are 6 ages of history. And what you are reading right now, Edgefrith, is you're reading how Augustine of Hippo, oh my word, what was that?
Horror! Roll for sanity!
A monster attack! I think a microphone has, oh my word, again.
What happened? I'm not hearing it.
We're having some sort of microphone issue. Is everybody okay?
Everybody show their hands.
Has anybody urinated in your pants? Okay. So whatever is causing that, let's just all stay very still and hope it doesn't happen again.
And scream every time it happens.
And if my producers, who are floating above me in the cosmic ether with Azathoth and Nyarlathotep, want to send me a message letting me know what they think it is and how we might fix it, I'm into that.
You can pronounce Lovecraft?
Oh, I mean, I have so many talents that make me absolutely unsuited for regular human life, Becca.
Perfect.
Okay, so the 6 ages of man, not only do they have to do with, your age as an individual, but they also have to deal with the fact that Augustine of Hippo did the math on how old Adam was and Moses and all of those biblical figures, and he figured out that there are going to be 6 historical ages before the world ends. And you have just reached the passage that says that the age it's back. The age you are living in now is the 6th age, the final age of man, right before the revelation from the Bible.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's good, though. That's great, because soon we'll all ascend to sit at his right hand.
Is that what you read? With your words in your pages?
Oh, by the way, Moira's there with you.
Of course. There's a lot of wisdom in these pages, Moira. You do well to study a bit more. How are you getting on with your words and letters and what have you that I've sought to teach you over these years?
You know that none of that information is stuck at all. I'm completely illiterate. How annoyed are you going to be with my shitty British accent, by the way?
I'm finding it very charming so far.
Excellent.
So I actually find shitty British accents way more entertaining than perfectly well done ones.
That's what I got for you.
To be honest with you, growing up on, just to break out a character for a moment, growing up on a steady diet of The Simpsons doing aggressively bad British accents, I find them really funny and charming. Like the worse, the better. And Dick Van Dyke, who is...
I got my inspiration. Stepping time.
And wait till you hear mine. I promise to try to make it even worse than Becca's. Okay. So the thing about Becca being on the monastery grounds is that it's probably kind of not allowed. But what I think, Becca, you mentioned that Moira sleeps out under the stars a lot. I think that our friend Edgefrith, gives Moira some trade goods now and then, a little bit out of the monastery larder to go and do things for him and to kind of act as a bailiff around the monastery grounds. But it's a little bit under the table, you can't really let the abbot know that that's going on.
He lets me sleep under the tree outside his monastery window.
I do, which is a great gift, a boon from the abbot and from the Lord himself, of course.
An honor, sir. Truly an honor. And
that is when a fellow monk, Tywil, comes into the room and says, Edgefrith, the abbot would like to see you in the audience room.
Oh, indeed. Then I must haste me to go and see what he wants.
Very well. Moira, will you join or will you go elsewhere until he is ready? Until he has done this scene?
Probably best that I lurk around a dark corner just in case you need me or in trouble. If the abbot wants to attack you, you tell me he's not violent, but I've no
Yes.
men.
Can I
Well,
sneak in and read his book while they're gone? I
You
have no accents.
cannot. You cannot. And here's why. We are going to introduce your character in a moment, and I promise it's going to be a big entrance, Jackie. So I need you emotionally preparing for that.
I'll be lurking in the hole.
yes, that would be kind of you, Moira. I don't want the 75-year-old abbot to leap across the table and strangle me.
Should I have my knife out? The knife.
I'd keep it hidden for now, like I said.
My hand's on it.
And
Great.
so you go to the audience room, led by Tywell, to the audience room of the monastery, and you watch as Moira kind of shuffles outside and kind of keeps an eye on you through the window. She's out under her sleeping tree. And you make it to the audience room, which is sort of the Dark Ages equivalent of the office conference room. Where they might take tea or break bread with someone who is not a monk of Saint Swithin's. And in there is, yes, he is 75, which is ancient by Dark Ages standards, but he is still hale, and he looks like he's made out of leather and corded muscle. There he is. It's Abbot. The Abbot's name is Grimsatel. Abbot Grimsatel. And he's looking over. He has an unrolled parchment, the kind that someone would send to them, with expressly send them a message via courier, via messenger. And he says, yes, Edgefrith. We've received word from the Thane of Totbur that one of the settlement's parish priests may be stirring up trouble, preaching a lot of junk about how the world is coming to an end. I want you to go and see this man with your own eyes and take notes of where he strays from the scripture. We'll need a record for it when we report his heresy to the bishop.
Certainly, Father. I can handle that for you.
Yes. Perhaps it will help your mood. You've been quite melancholy of late.
That I have. I've had much to ponder.
Yes.
Would it be all right? Certainly. Would it be all right if I brought my retainer with me, Moira?
Ugh.
I'm sure you would be grateful to have out from under your feet, seeing as how she keeps pulling knives on everyone that works here.
It's improper, but yes, you may take her with you. And perhaps she will find a life there in Totbur and not come back and disrupt the beautiful serenity of our monastery, which is serene and quiet.
Yes.
This is 10th century equivalent of bitches, man. Get her out of here.
I pulled my knife in the hall when he said that.
It used to be just us guys here, and it was great.
Yeah, it was a good time. Certainly.
Well, may I add that Moira is quite hideous. She's a real monstrosity.
Sure.
I mean, I like that she's hideous, but
yes, all of God's creations are beautiful in His eye.
Well, off with you. The Thane has said he will give you lodgings if it takes you more than a night or so, and hurry back in time for the Yule services here. You have 4 days.
Certainly. Thank you, Father. I kiss his ring.
You do so, and he's like, yes, go. The world can't end in 4 days. We're much too busy.
Okay. Well, then I would like to head outside and gather up Moira and go down to the stable and get my mule that is in amongst my items that I spent my money on before when I was building the character. I've got a sweet mule.
That's awesome. I love any game where you're like, time to buy my equipment. I choose a mule.
Yes. Well, that's exactly what I did.
Does your mule have a name? He doesn't have to.
Yeah, his name is Bjocka.
Bjocka.
Ooh.
Beocca, if anyone who's copying along at home.
So
That's Jared's daughter's name. Nice work.
No.
Yes. So you hie along to Totbur, which is about a day's travel on your mule. By a day's travel, around 8 hours. And this happened in the morning. So you will have a couple hours before the sun goes down here in the December months once you arrive in Totbur. And when you arrive in Totbur, you are met by a local woman a local woman who is familiar with the priest in question that you are supposed to investigate. She's intimately familiar with him, and I'll tell you why. Not intimate like that, Jackie. I saw your head go. But she's very familiar with this priest, and I'll tell you all why in a little bit. But for now, you see standing outside the palisades of Totbur, because Totbur, as you come up over the rise and you look at it, it is an old-fashioned kind of Anglo-Saxon settlement. So when we think of it, we don't want to think of a castle the way we see in Game of Thrones, where they're big and they're made of stone and they have like multiple floors. No, Totbur is more of like earthen walls with some wooden palisades attached, and it's a little bit of like a walled village, not a city, a walled village. And so these kind of old-fashioned castles there, yeah. So these kind of old-fashioned kind of settlements, they used wooden and earthen walls, and they were not very large. But you do know that Totbur contains a mint, because part of the king, the Anglo-Saxon king of Mercia's kind of system of government was that they would put a mint in these like fortified towns, so that if they got attacked and land was taken by enemies, Vikings, for example, who are still roving the countryside, these mints could still issue coinage with the king of Mercia's name on it, so that he could still, raise warriors and pay them to go out and fight back and get the land back. So this is the kind of place you're coming up on. It's brown and large and kind of earthy looking, and as you arrive, a light snow begins to fall across the field.
Ooh, sounds magical.
It is. Thank you. It is magical, in effect. And there's a woman standing outside the gates waiting for you. And would she please tell us what she looks like?
I literally am just sort of a shortish, square woman who is about 27 years old, and I'm wearing many layers of clothing. And I look respectable, almost. I almost look respectable. I'm a little dodgy looking, but for the most part, you're like, there's just something off about her. But she's trying her best to look like a decent Christian woman. And then I see those guys coming over the hill.
Yeah, and let me just give you a little background on why you're standing out here, Eartha. Eartha, you, at one point, when you returned to Totbur, when you returned to Mercia after your travels abroad, you spent a short time working for the Thane of Totbur. The Thane is sort of, you'd say, the governor of the settlement. He's like a guy that just amassed enough wealth to build the biggest house, and then the king let him build the settlement around it. But you worked for him for a while, so you still kind of like do favors for him now and again. You are more connected to the peasantry than he is, being a midwife, a cunning woman. Mm-hmm. And he knows that you are aware that the priest that he has sent to the monastery about, the heretic priest who's preaching these things about the end of the world, is giving a sermon today on a hill outside of town. And you know where he's doing that, and you can lead our friends to that sermon, which is going to happen. It's probably happening now, actually. So go ahead.
Hi, and I will say without any accent at all, hello, I understand that you are sent from the monastery. I am here to take you to see the priest. What is that priest's name? Does he have a name?
He does indeed. His name is Iadis.
Iadis?
Iadis.
To where Iadis will be preaching. It's a little bit away from town. It's on a hill, and he's lost his grip a little bit. So we might want to look into how Iadis, he's being influenced by I know not what. But if you could come, brother, are you a priest, or are you a monk?
I'm a monk, which you can tell when you see my incredible tonsure. I've got real solid bit shaved out of the top of my head so I can hear God speaking to me.
I believe that's how male pattern baldness was invented.
Yes.
And so
I believe I understand our mic issue, if I may, and it may be Mr. Carr when you move papers. It may be that.
Oh,
That's it.
There it is. Look,
There it
we
is.
don't have-
I solved it.
we don't have. This is a pro operation.
Sorry, everybody. People are shouting my name in the chat thing. Sorry.
worries.
It wouldn't be a show online if there weren't commenters going, "What the fuck is going on with the tech?"
It's mostly quite
there's
polite.
no wrong.
I should get an inspiration point. Thank you, Acorn AO.
Well,
There are no inspiration points in this game, but
and
Your
Call of
name is
Cthulhu-
Arthur.
yes. Sorry, my child, for distracting you by screaming in that strange manner. My body was racked by pain ever since the Lord pulled me into this world. But there'll be no more of those noises. Would you please take us to Yadis and let
That's
me just.
why I carry him. I'll carry him because I don't want my lord to feel any pain. I'm Uncle Lord.
Thank you, Moira. You don't-
You're not a lord, but I
Moira-
tell you that.
Again, I've asked you before. Please don't pick me up in front
No,
of when
I'll
I'm
put
meeting
it-
new people. Will you just put us? Yeah, down. Thank you. Thank
We're
you.
doing it to get to know one another, Arthur.
Yes.
Moira. That's Egfrith. Now you can watch me carry Egfrith on my back.
Now, Moira,
Could you
again,
please
as we
carry
just
the
said,
mule? Just
Yeah.
carry the mule, please.
What? Yes. Could
The
you?
mule-
Would you
She
please
gets
lead Bjorka along?
really worn out very quickly. And so I also consider myself a beast of burden.
Yeah.
So rather than carry Edgefrith, you have agreed to pull the mule along, Moira. And after walking not too long, maybe 10, 15 minutes out into the beautiful countryside, and these are the beautiful rolling green hills of England. Of course, it is December, and they're a bit browner at present, and a beautiful light snow is falling. And as you come up over one rise, you hear a loud voice intoning through the quiet the snow has brought, and he is speaking very loudly, and you can tell that he's preaching. And on a hillside, you see about 40 to 50 people, which is a lot considering that Totber might be a community of only 350 people. So there's a lot of people on the hillside watching him. And you spy your friend Yadis, Eartha, and I want you to know that when you look at him, you don't see the man, the priest. You see the boy, because a lifetime ago, when you were children, you were both taken by the Danes who attacked your village, and you went on a long voyage around the coast of Britain. And when you went on that voyage, this is stuff you might not know about your character, Jackie, but I'm letting you know now. Okay. Yadis was just a young boy. And you were with him there. You were going to be taken off to be slaves in some far-off country where the Vikings make one of their colonies or their home. And every night you prayed to your gods, not the Christian God, your gods. And finally, they answered your prayers. The longboat you were in was caught in a horrible storm. The mast was hit by lightning, Thunor's hammer. And you both escaped into the freezing cold water. And eventually made your way through a series of adventures that you have somewhat described back here to Totber. So this is your childhood friend, and it broke your heart when he turned away from your ways and became a priest of the Christian God. So that is this man Yadis, who you see now preaching before all of these people. And you are not wrong. You had it exactly right when you said he's become a little unhinged and you're not sure what he's under the influence of. And I will read to you now. I will perform for you now his sermon that he is giving as you walk up the hill toward him. And unless there's anything people would like to do before I do that, when you see this scene of 50 people watching him and the man preaching, do you just want to listen, or is there anything else? As a game master, I ask a lot of open-ended questions. I really mean...
We've got to talk. Eartha, what do you know
Yes.
about this priest? Is he trustworthy? He's preaching against Christian beliefs. And
He's
if you
a good
see
man.
this is my Virgin Mary is my most prized possession, this coin that I wear around my neck. And so I don't like heretics.
Well, he thinks he's got information from the Christian God, from God.
What,
I'm
you
so
mean
sorry.
you mean the one true God?
Yes, the one true God.
Right,
And,
thank you. That's good.
and-
Don't want to have to burn you.
That's strange.
Dewey.
Egfrith burns people all
We
the
don't
time.
want to have to. We don't want to have to set you on fire.
Tie him down and we set them on
Right,
fire.
exactly. Yeah,
There you
Moira
go.
does a lot of the actual burning, but I'm
No, but
I'm
Egfrith
like
says
burn
no,
him.
He chooses the burn.
burn her. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And then she.
That's what
Just
She
wanted to
does
let
it.
you know that he seems to have some information from God that these might be the end times, and for many years he believed in a kindler, gentler Jesus, and then there was definitely some a lot of hell and fire and brimstone since we were children, but he had a turn. He's turned twice. Once when we came back when we were children, he turned to God, and it was very beautiful. Of
And then
course, it was beautiful.
Good. The Lord
Right.
is much more excited about one lost sheep that returns to the fold than 100 sheep that were already there or something.
Yes, that's right.
So beautiful.
Well quoted.
Yeah,
Yes.
something like that.
And then the next thing that happened not long ago, where he became very in sort of melancholy and more full of fear than I had seen him, and he tried to sort of how would I put this? Double down? He tried to double down on God, and it hasn't taken. So what I'm hoping is that you can help him help him come back.
Guide him on the right path.
And his voice blasts out over the hilltops, and he says, "We have thrown off the old gods, and they are angry with us, brothers and sisters. They have sent their servants, the Danes, to enact vengeance upon us." And then he goes, I see. And then he goes into kind of an epileptic fit. And then he suddenly is saying, I see God clothed in flesh, dressed in the Danes, a god clothed in flesh, dressed in the Danes, an old god with a white beard full of snakes and an eye in his chest. He will come at the turning of the year. He will spill Christian blood here in Totber, and the final age will begin. Men will become as the old gods, beyond good and evil, shouting and killing with joy. And the black and moldy spirits of the earth will rise. And he collapses. And a bunch of followers run to kind of aid him, and he lays
I
there.
run to aid him too.
Very good. Yes, you're running across the hilltops toward him, and yes, you can certainly get up to him. And what would you like to do when you get there? You see, just his followers are trying to kind of
Out of the way!
I want to
I
limp up.
believe you.
Can I limp up behind Moira as well? Sorry. Anyway, Moira.
You certainly may. And would
Bertha is
well.
right is right there with him too, because these are not Danish gods that he's speaking of, right? These are neither Druid gods, the ones that I was raised with, nor Danish gods that I learned when I was taken by the Danes. This seems to be a third super negative god with mold.
Well, you're not sure.
He might be
Actually, you're not
misunderstood.
sure. Yeah,
It could be a good god.
Maybe you should ask
Very
him.
impressionable, and anytime somebody speaks passionately, I'm on board. So I try and push everybody away so that Egfrith can have private speech with him.
Well, thank you.
Back.
I think we should have our first roll. I think you should have to intimidate them, Moira, because these people are very fanatical, and they're very careful about the health of their new leader, their religious leader. So in Call of Cthulhu, Dark Ages, and all the other versions, you roll percentile dice. And everybody has a bunch of skills on their sheet rated from 1% to 90% or something like that. And you try to roll a 10s die and a 1s die on 10-sided dice that roll under that skill level. So do you have intimidation?
Yeah, I got 45%, baby.
Hey, that's not
Baby.
bad. Why don't you roll under that and see how it goes?
32.
Guess
I
what?
said, back all of you heathens, you know nothing. This is my lord, and he will have private conference right now after we wake this guy up.
just want to make very clear to everybody, I'm not a lord. I'm just a monk.
He's a monk lord.
Yeah,
I pledge fealty, and therefore
I love it. She's got a
not
huge
lord.
heart. Huge heart. She's a great woman. Just don't take everything at face value. Okay.
I would like to examine him since he's clearly had an epileptic fit.
Yes. So looking down at him, you see that his eyes are still open and he's still shaking. And that's when he says, first of all of the followers back away because of Moira shouting at them. And so now it's just the three of you near the body. and he says, can you feel it? The old gods, the Danes have brought them back. And when he says that, suddenly you all feel a tremor in the earth. A slight tremor.
Does that mean?
The followers feel that as well, and they all start screaming and shouting and sobbing. And one of them screams, "It is a sign from God! Yada speaks the truth! The Danes will bring the end of the world in 3 days!" And they all go running down the hillside, screaming and sobbing. And the tremor.
It might also be an earthquake. Does Eartha know that this might just also be a natural phenomenon?
Roll natural world.
Natural world, which I have 50%.
Oh, pretty good. Yeah.
Okay. I have failed that roll. Thank you very much. I've rolled an 85.
So let me tell you a little bit more about the game, which is that if you really, really want to succeed in a roll, and perhaps this is not one that you feel very strongly about, but it might be, you can push a roll. You can say, I'm going to roll again. And the only consequence is that if you fail it a second time, something bad will happen.
I sense that. Do I have any sort of insight as to what, like sort of a first aid kind of insight-y kind of, like what the hell is going on? Can I tell if he's actually possessed or if he is just literally having an epilepsy?
Well, anybody who would like to could roll medicine on him or first aid. They will have two different paths. Medicine will tell you kind of what's happening with him. First aid will just help him. It will allow him to...
I dropped one of my dice and it went such a long way away. It bounced off something and went so far.
Don't worry,
gonna go away.
Everyone's going to see I've got pajamas on my bottom half when I stand up. It's a quarantine.
Moira will roll the dice for you.
As long as you're going not full Winnie the Pooh, I'm good with that.
Yeah,
to help this
Moira
man,
can definitely roll dice for me as my...
I roll it for myself, and I do not help this man.
No problem.
I'll roll first aid. I have 70%.
Okay.
Holy 99. I rolled a 99.
Wow.
Hi. It's I might be a little freaked out because I like this young man so much. Adis, I'm a little twitchy. I don't know what's happening. I can't seem to fix him. He might actually be possessed, or I now believe he is.
So I'm going to rule that because you failed that first aid roll, Eartha, unless you want to push it, Iadis he can't communicate. He's completely in the throes of whatever this weird feverish trance is, and he cannot communicate with
I would like to make the sign of the cross over his body, thinking that this in some way is going to restore him to full health.
I will push it. I'll push it and then I guess suffer the consequences?
If you fail again.
I've got a feeling he's going to suffer the consequences.
Come on. Nope, 74%. What is happening?
Wow.
These dice are made out of amethyst. These literally should be old-timey.
That's my birthday stone.
Yeah, they're made out of old-timey, cool, crisp. Anyway.
Well, Jackie, you know what? You're in
Dave.
Cthulhu's universe now, so who knows if those dice will work.
Exactly.
Use your gold on him.
It's not my god. He's everybody's god again. Please,
God.
she's got a heart of gold, but just
My God, your God.
Okay.
Madness.
What can I do? How can I help with this?
Well, maybe you can't do anything. Maybe you can simply take him back to the settlements or follow his followers. And
yes. Okay. I would like to ask Moira. Listen to me.
Yeah.
Pick up Yadis. We'll take him back down to the Thames Hall.
Foot and sort of
no.
over my shoulder.
Oh God. Okay, fine.
He flops over A whole 180 degrees.
Remember, he is a man of the cloth. Please treat him with. Oh no, his habit's all fallen down around his waist. Now you can see his dangles.
Oh,
Hold
no.
on.
Use my gentle hands, you're saying.
Yes, your gentle hands. That's it. Use your gentle
Going
hands.
to the donkey's back.
Yes, like you do when you're dealing with Bjorka. You're nice to him, aren't you? You don't bash him around.
Right.
You actually have a mule to throw him over, don't you? So
we do.
Unless Moira would prefer
Sweet
to carry him.
Bjorka.
No, I toss him over Bioka.
Yeah,
Sounds
Bjorka.
a lot like Becca with an O.
That's exactly how it's spelled.
But it's named after my daughter. Don't forget, you guys.
Yes.
So you're headed back to Totber, and where would you like to go? Would you like to go into the city walls? I heard you say something about the Thane's Hall.
I think we should go to the Thane's Hall.
Yes,
so
let's take him directly there.
When you arrive at the big gate into the city, there are two members of the Hearthwaru, which is the settlement's war band there. And they see you with this priest over the back of your mule, and they say, "Oh, there! What business have you in?" Ah, Eartha.
Yes. It's the priest has fallen, and we are taking him to the Thane's Hall. Hopefully that he will come to, and that we can treat him well and have him return to health. He has passed out.
The Thane is not going to want anything to do with him, Eartha, but do as you wish. And they step out of your way.
The monk would like to take him to the Thane. So
I'm very impressed by all the respect they have for Eartha.
Yeah.
They know who she is. They don't know you strangers. And in fact, as you enter, you see them give you suspicious side-eyed looks.
I bless them both
I get
as I
real
go past.
yeah.
I'm in the middle of blessing. I'm in the middle of blessing, and I'm like, "What are you doing? Stop that! We're trying to get these." Excuse her.
Good cop on bad cop.
They don't understand what those things are. They're simple men.
No, I heard it in a dream.
Yeah, I don't know what a good cop is or a bad cop.
I don't either. It's just in my dream.
The Thane's Hall is not hard to find. It's the biggest building in the center of the settlement. I will say you pass through muddy streets. It's winter. There's been precipitation. So by the time you get to the Thane's Hall, your boots are quite covered in mud, and you're weaving in between, houses that weren't built along a kind of a fine grid, but houses and shops that just kind of grew up inside of these walls and kind of grew up off the side of the Thane's compound. But soon you were there in the Thane's compound, a big manor house, which actually has the mint right beside it, a big stone building. And in addition to that, it has it looks like a little chapel of its own on the back. Would you like to go in with your unconscious priest?
I would like us to kick the mud off our boots, please, so that we are not murdered by the Thane.
So I don't know. I love the feeling of mud around my boots.
You love you love the mood, the mud, and the boots.
I love the mud. I love the boots. I love it all.
He's a classy guy, is what I'm saying. You might want to. He's got fresh rushes down. You just got to kick a little bit of the mud off. That's all. So and then we will bring. Iadis?
Iadis.
There we go. Iadis into and make him comfortable, and hopefully someone will boil some water.
Please, Moira, gentle hands. Bring Father Iadis off. Let's leave Bjorka here. Perhaps there's a retainer somewhere we can hand the halter of the mule to.
Certainly. A boy comes out of nowhere and is suddenly standing beside you and takes nods to Eartha and takes the mule.
Take good care of the mule. Otherwise, you'll go to hell.
Wait.
All right. Anyway, where were we?
Hands.
Thank you.
So you carry Iadis into the hall, and again, it's the Dark Ages. The hall is a little smaller than we might imagine by modern expectations, and it does have the rushes all over the floor, as Eartha has told you, and a big wooden table of fine make. And a slightly raised dais at the back of this hall with a chair where perhaps our Thane can kind of listen to his men talk and kind of hold court over them. Now, the Thane is not sitting there now, but shortly thereafter, the boy who took care of the mule comes back in and is like, "Is this someone you want to be seeing?"
Yes, we've come to see the Thane. Is there a steward here or someone we can speak to?
Oh, you
your local
stupid
priest.
boy.
Yep. Yes.
Stupid,
Sorry, she's
you're a
bad cop.
stupid boy.
Yeah, she's bad. I'm good cop. She's
The
bad
thing.
cop.
I'll go
Wait.
and fetch. I'll go and fetch one of the Thane's sons, and he runs off.
Wait, no, where's the Thane? Where's the Thane?
What's,
His son.
steady yourself, Moira.
Soon.
I put him down on the wooden table.
It's just thump.
Oh, okay. So
Thump.
thunk. There's now and I want you to know
Gentle.
that Iadis is on the table where Moira has dropped him, and he's still got his eyes open, and he's like,
Okay, so may I try a little more first aid on him?
How
You
about
may.
I
Wait.
grab his tongue?
but since you're you failed earlier, I now want you to
So
take
bad.
10% off your total score to try again.
Oh my goodness.
And that is the rule for repeated attempts. in
Can
the game.
I make a religion roll to try and cast the demon out of his head?
You may.
Oh, for the first time, it's worked. 19%.
Very good.
Out of 60.
You find a cloth and some water nearby, and you kind of like you dab his forehead and you make him comfortable. You get like some hay up under his head so he's not like hitting the back of the table. And now he's no longer like shaking. He's kind of gone into kind of a quiet kind of rest, and he seems comfortable.
How long has this been happening? Is it like a minute and a half? I mean,
It was like a 10
it was 15-minute walk.
Well, I think you rushed back. So, yeah, it's been going on for at least 10 minutes. Yeah.
If he's calmed down, it might be because I rolled a 47 for my religion against 60. So I've probably cast out whatever it was that was giving him ill humors.
Hard to say. Could be both. Could be.
It could be.
The religion.
Yes, but it seems unlikely that human intervention could possibly have helped, where our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ has also seen to tread.
You were all arguing about this when the Thane enters. Oswin of Totbur. Not one of his sons, but the man himself. A bearded man in his prime, maybe reaching his mid-30s. Hale, strong, barrel-chested.
He's a beefcake.
That's what a leader had to be back then. They had to be a beefcake because administration was a physical task. And Eartha, you know that he's a practical man. He's a reasonable man. He listens to reason, but he's a bit avaricious. He's pretty concerned about his bottom line. And when he comes in, he goes, "Here now, why do you have this heretic on my table?"
That one is to you, Sir Monk.
Well, my lord, we've come to seek succor from you for this. Your wayward son is not the priest of this parish your responsibility. Do you not answer to the bishop and to the king himself if heresy spreads here in your lands?
Well, God's wounds, man. I wanted you to, the monastery, to send someone to talk some sense into him, to quit everybody running around the hillsides talking about the end of the world. I mean, I have the Yule celebration going on. It's a very profitable time of year for us. I can't have this kind of thing in the settlement at this time of year. And now you've gone, and what have you done? Knocked him out and thrown him on my table?
Well,
what's on?
you sure he's wrong? I'm so sorry, Eggfrith. It's just, what if he's right about the end times?
Well, first of all, everybody knows that the end times don't come until there's a great big trumpet in the sky. And I don't know if you've heard a big trumpet, but I've not. So I think we're fine for now.
Right.
Okay. Thank you very much. I think if there was going to be the end of the world, then then the bishop
More
would know,
trumpets. Got
and the
it.
archbishop, and everybody, we would all come down the chain. I'd be told, and then you would be told. So.
Right. This is not. It's more profitable to get him off of the hill, I think, and not spreading the news of because they're. I mean, this is. I try to placate Oswin and just talk him down off of. I was like, it was the most profitable thing we could do was to get everybody back to work and off of that hill because there was a big gathering that he was preaching this thing to.
Indeed.
I'm well aware.
Oh, I'm confused because I thought what he said sounded real right and good, but now you're telling me it's nonsense.
Well,
Oh, it's nonsense.
I just need this
Right.
unrest tamped down. He's caused a bunch of the villagers to stop working, to run off and ignore the Yule celebration. He's caused a lot of problems. So if you could just take him off back to your monastery and I don't know, excommunicate him or whatever you all do.
We'll burn him. We'll burn him. Don't worry about that.
We get to burn him.
Yeah, probably. I mean, that's not actually my decision, but I would assume he'll get burned.
So Eartha, just making a note, Eartha, hearing that your childhood friend will be burned, that might upset you.
No, that's not okay. The thing is he's just misguided. There's no he literally I believe him to actually be physically ill. So what I'm hoping was that the father yes, Edgefrith would take over for him, and brother Edgefrith, if you could take over and talk everybody sort of down, I could take Yadis out of town, make him just kind of get him maybe take him to the sea. He might just need some fresh air. He might just sort of get him out of the way, and I can hide him until after the Yule, and then I can take him on the road,
and then we burn him.
Right. Well, what I was hoping was no burning, no killing of my childhood friend. Yes.
Well, if he were to recant his foul heresies, then I'm sure that it could be arranged that.
I thought I heard him earlier when he came out of it. He said, "I might have been wrong." I think he whispered.
Did he? Is that right?
I might have been. I thought I heard that.
I didn't hear that.
Wow.
You didn't hear that?
Him around.
There was a lot going on. His testicles fell out as well. Oh, sorry, your lordship.
Yes, I don't care how you deal with it. Just get him off my table, out of the settlements, even better. If this man is ill, take him to Delwyn, the leech, but get him out of my.
I think we could take him. Okay, I'm more than willing.
I've got a quick
to take responsibility for Yadis. We can take him to my hut, and then we'll just. I have a hut. Why wouldn't I have a hut? It's a nice hut. It's out toward the. It's. I don't. It's outside of the town a little bit. It's in the woods, and it's my hut, and I just I don't have any. Nobody's having any babes right now, so I have a minute. Right. It's people. It's all a summer. It's a summer thing when people have the babes.
So you're going to take him to Eartha's hut. It sounds like. I will say that Oswin does look over at Edgefrith and he says, "Tell Grimstatel that if you can take care of this for me, I will owe him a boon."
Certainly, I shall pass on that message.
I just run over to the Thane and I wanna quickly ask him, Dane, I know your time's real valuable and everything, but you know about my uncle Dathos of Mirth? He's a real bastard.
I am aware of the name.
Yeah, I wonder if maybe you pledge war against him.
Would I pledge war against him?
Yeah.
Maybe. Get this tragic creature out of my face.
I'm just going to...
I have business to attend.
Yeah, I might just grab Yadis and head into the woods here.
I lightly grasp Moira by the elbow and like, all right, okay, well, I think we've all stayed our welcome here. Thank you so much. It's been so nice of you to have us, your lordship. Come on, get out of here.
And don't go causing any fights with anyone. You hear him yell out the door as you... take the body of Yadis even farther. You're weakened at burning this guy all over the settlement. You're heading into kind of the peasant homes.
I also want to say I have retrieved Bioka from around the corner.
Very good. Yes, the boy
bless
has
the small boy, which he's thrilled about.
I don't know why he said that last bit about fighting. I'm not going to start any fights.
Yeah, I mean, you all can make a. Let's see. A psychology. Oh no, that is not a skill in the Dark Ages. I think you can make a listen roll. Actually, that's what I want. I want a listen roll right now from everyone.
Okay.
I rolled an 80, so I don't hear anything.
27% from 55.
Very good.
I hear it too.
Very good. You hear
what?
you hear people shouting. You hear people shouting back farther toward the entry to the settlement, the gate. You hear someone shouting, "We found one! We found one on the road!"
What's that?
That, I assume, some sort of black and moldy spirit. So I would like, is there somewhere that we can stash Yaris? Yaris.
Yeah, I think that you
Yes.
could take him to your hut, which is a short walk away, and then run. Also, Delwyn the leech or healer is nearby. You could stash him with Delwyn.
Where's the residence of Delwyn?
Ooh,
Um,
I love
Eartha must know because she lives here.
Right around
Right.
the corner. You don't
Well,
really like Delwyn. He's
I don't
sort of your
particularly like
competition.
Delwyn, so I don't necessarily want him using leeches on a guy.
No,
'Cause-
leeches, they work. I say leech him up.
Yes, I hear great things about leeches, but I have seen leeches actually leech the life out of somebody. So
Have I
I'm a
seen him
big
leech
fan.
it back in, though, too?
Oh, have you? Well, let's. I think Yanis would be safer in my hut. Let's just a step or two past leech man, and let's ditch him in there, and then it's a nice fresh bed with fresh rushes as well,
Very
and
good.
then let's run and find a black moldy spirit and see possibly what's I have a lot of responsibility in this town trying to keep a lid on I don't know, the different problems in this. It's a lovely town.
Well,
You've come at a weird time.
Lucky for you, Eartha, that the cavalry has come.
Yes.
Um,
In the form of
following-
me and Moira and our Lord and
following-
Savior Jesus Christ.
Yeah, we got Jesus on our side.
Jesus, take the wheel.
I fear no
Following
army.
the voices, you eventually come to the gate to the settlement, where you notice some of the followers of Iadis, the people that were on the hillside earlier, running down the road. And by the way, now it's starting to get dark, so it is chaos here. People would be shutting the gate, getting to their homes, lighting, having their evening meal, and going to bed at this time of year. But now a group of people are running up the road toward a copse of trees on the hillside.
How dark is it?
It's getting dark. I would say that it's dusk right now, so it is not full dark yet.
Eggfrith, you know how scared I am of the dark.
I do know that. So just stick close to me, and if you ever get scared, you can sing your wee song, and that'll keep the fears and the night haints away from you. Oh, you started already. Okay,
It's okay.
come here. Hold me hand.
Moira sings her nighttime song as she exits the settlement, because exiting a settlement at dusk would be kind of a thing that would put you all ill at ease. Maybe you look back at the doors and think, well, that's where safety is, and I'm going out into the night, which in the Dark Ages, I mean, they really are literally dark. When it gets dark, there is no ambient light from cities or highways.
Is
Things
there a moon
completely black.
this night?
Let's see.
Eartha would know.
Is it still snowing?
There is only a sliver of a moon, Eartha. Only a sliver of a moon
That's
tonight.
not much.
And so you follow these parishioners, these followers of Yaddis along the road until you come to a place where you notice a clump of them has gathered in this copse of trees, and they are pulling a rope up, and on the rope is a man with a beard, and he's got the rope around his neck, and he's trying to scream in a language like, and they're like pulling him up, and he's wearing like chainmail and clothing garments that are not of Anglo-Saxon
A
make.
Dane.
It is a Dane, and they are hanging a Dane right there, and they're all shouting, "Hang him! He's bringing back the old gods! He brings the end of the earth!"
I want to stand away.
Him! What?
Stand away from there. Let that man down.
Yeah.
In the name of Jesus Christ. Unless, of course, all of you want to go to hell right away.
One of the peasants says, "Stand back, monk! Yaddis speaks with the true visions from God."
I go and grab the person that said that, try and take over the rope.
Oh, so now we're elbowing in and trying to take over the rope from these guys.
Well, maybe I'll hold it halfway and see if just buy Eggfrith some time to talk to them. while he can still kind of get his tippy toes on the ground, but he's not totally relieved of the strain.
Moira, as you move towards the men holding the rope, a group of like 3 peasants, the large male peasants, and not as large as you, maybe, move to stop you and like to press you back.
Can I call them by name and say, "Hey, dum-dums, back off. These are people sent from the church."
You can, but for you to do that, I want an intimidate roll from Eartha.
Oh, an intimidate roll, which doesn't
she could use another tactic, and perhaps she would get a persuade roll.
Interesting.
I pulled the long sphere off my back just to hold him.
Do I have status?
Can
I use my status?
You could use your status. That's a great idea. You want to pull rank on these guys?
Yeah.
You are a privileged person in the settlement.
That's right. Did I not save your little sister from the influenza that one time? Anyway, so that's what I say to Dingbat and Dirtbag, whose names originate from 9.99. Anyway, let's give it a shot.
So let me set the scene. Moira has walked up to these guys. They've kind of made a human wall against her, and she's pulled her spear off of her back threateningly when Eartha says, "I saved your daughter, did I not?" And how'd you roll?
A 39 out of 40.
Hey, that's real good. So
it's close, but it's there.
It's there, and that is such a clutch roll and so close to failing that I want you to check. There's a little box you can check to the left of the skill.
Yeah.
Would you please check that, your status? And finally, they go like, "Fine, speak, monk." And then the Dane dies.
What crime has this man committed?
He calls upon his old gods to bring the end of the earth. Did you not hear, Yaddis?
Who here speaks the Dane tongue?
Oh,
not me.
Nope.
I know how to say like hello and like
Can you swear?
how much?
Can you do it?
Yeah,
do it
like
for fun?
a couple of things like that.
Wow.
Why speak to him? He'll weave his words into a Dane charm that will get into your heart and turn you toward the devil.
Oh, that's
Can I-
unbelievable.
Can I look at? Oh, sorry.
I was going to say, when I was stolen by the Danes as a child, did I learn any Danish languages?
Well,
Surely.
we did add that to your backstory, didn't we? And
Yeah, we
makes
did.
sense that you would, wouldn't you? So here's what I'm going to let you do. And other players, I'm not saying that this will never happen for you. This could happen for you as well as we explore your backstories. Go ahead and give me, you can roll 3d10, and that is your Danish skill. And put it under other language there on your sheet.
Okay. Oh, not bad, not great. Uh-oh. All right. 13? I rolled a 13. That's not good.
Wait, it was 13 and you rolled a 13?
Wait.
You're rolling to see what your
you're rolling to see what your
steady
total
stat
skill
is.
is. Yeah.
Oh, wait, so don't I roll d6 for that? What am I? I'm so
Oh,
sorry.
no, I'm so sorry. I should have been clearer. I'm letting you roll to see how much skill you have in Danish language. So did you roll a 13 when you add it all together?
Yep.
Roll 3d10s and add them all together. What did you get?
Okay. I will.
I should have been clearer.
Right, I think I had the wrong. Hi.
But the ones digit is going to be a tens digit as well.
This is what happens when Jared creates Jared's rules instead of going by the rules that our players have learned. But these are the kind of crazy curveballs that I throw
But I
at you.
mean, to be fair, with the backstory of being a Danish slave for that time, surely she would have picked up some.
She should,
Danish.
right? 3d10.
All right.
What do they add up to?
3d10 sadly add up to 6, 6, and a 4. So
16.
16. Thanks for the math.
That's not bad.
All right, 16.
You have a 16. Do you try to roll under it?
Come on.
Okay. It feels intense. Let's
Come on, Eartha.
16.
Speak his devil tongue to him.
And sadly, I roll a 33.
Would you like to push it? Or would you like to use luck? Let me explain how that works. You have luck points on your sheet. You can use as many of those you want, and you'll get 1-for-1 percentile point for each that you spend. Does that make sense? So, like, if you spent 5 luck points, your skill would go up to a 21.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, why don't you spend as many luck points as you want, and then you can't go higher than where your luck score started. So if you have a 30 luck, you can only spend up to 30 points. And then tell me how you do.
Okay. I'm going to spend 5. I'll spend the 5. And so then it's a 21.
Okay.
And I will try to roll under a 21. And I will fail. I will roll again a 33. And that was me pushing it as well? Or
well, that's not pushing it. Do you want to push it now?
I want to push it with different percentage dice because fuck these dice. Oh, pardon my language. Are there?
So I don't know if
I rolled 2%, right?
Okay, we'll take it. I don't know if we quite understood luck points, but if you guys want to, if you fail a roll later and you want to use luck, let me know. Okay, or if you have a low roll later, you're looking at your skill, it's not very high, and you're like, I need luck for this. Let me know, and we'll go over it.
You add it to your roll, not to your skill.
You add it to your skill. To your skill. So since we're always trying to roll under our skill, luck points add to that.
And are they a one-off?
So let's get back. Let's get back into it. So he's kind of screaming, and probably the reason you couldn't understand him at first is because he's got this thing around his neck, and he's kind of shouting. And now you understand that he's saying, "Help me! Help me! I come not to hurt you."
Can I try and do a spot hidden and see if he's wearing either a cross or a hammer on his neck, around his neck?
Okay. So he is wearing a hammer around his neck.
Oh, so he is a pagan.
Well, as long as Egfrith hasn't told me that we're against this guy, I want to use my skills with the natural world to try and take a rock and break the branch he's hanging from.
That's incredible. So I think that you can do that. I don't think natural world will do it though. You need to just throw a rock, okay? And do you have any throw skill, Moira?
Let's see. I've got fighting. I've got dodge. I've got climb.
I
like on the far right side of your sheet.
The chat says that I only know how to ask him where the library is.
Donde está la Norse Biblioteca?
That's a big old whiff, but I'm going to take a second rock. Can I push it?
You can push it, and you could add luck if you'd like.
Okay, let's see what happens first. Do I have to add luck before or after?
I think that I did it wrong earlier with Jackie, but it's not too big of a problem because it's just her trying to understand a language. But this is like a one, once it happens, it happens. So I think you need to add it now before you roll.
I'm adding 10.
Okay, spend 10 luck.
Didn't need to. 2 out of 25.
Moira takes a big rock. She throws it as hard as she can, and goddamn, she must be very large and strong because she hits the branch. A bunch of branches come down, things fall, and the rope goes loose, and boom, the Dane hits the dirt. And now it is getting so dark out that everybody kind of looks like a silhouette, and the followers of Yadis are like shouting, and some are fleeing.
That's right. You better run.
First things first. I mean, I know it's not up to me, but shouldn't Moira perhaps check her throw skill for nailing a 2 in trying to rescue that guy?
I think she absolutely should, because
she
didn't only succeed; she exceeded
saved a man's life.
Yeah, she exceeded extreme. So yes, please check that throw skill.
Now what are we going to do now? We've got a Danish man.
Should I talk to him? Should I try to talk to him?
You can right now. You were able to finally translate him.
Right. So, what are you doing here? They're going to kill you.
I was just walking along the road. Oh, that's a terrible Danish accent.
I've heard worse. I
don't even know where I was going with. It doesn't matter. I was just walking along the road to settlements northward.
This is a very stupid idea. Do you have business in this town, or
There's
what is
a
your
demon
business?
in him, and I grab his throat and just start to shake him. And I'll get it out.
Moira! Moira!
Okay.
What?
Okay.
I dropped
Knock it off.
Right,
He says-
right.
Eartha, ask him what he's doing out here, wearing
Uh,
chainmail, and he's good for war.
Right. Yeah. This is a terrible idea. They are you part of a? Are you a scout? Are you an advance of an army?
Very good. So he says, "No, I'm a simple trader. I was just moving north to find, but I was avoiding your settlement because I know you hate the Danes. I was going to a Danish settlement north of here."
Why are you wearing
I think he's
chainmail?
lying.
Yeah.
I don't know of a Danish
Moira,
settlement north of.
Moira, give him a taste of the hands.
Gentle or mean?
Mean.
Mean!
The hands you don't use for the donkey.
No, on the donkey hands.
You can make an
rattle him
insight
a
roll.
little bit.
You can make an
Yeah.
insight roll. Anybody who'd like to.
Ooh,
right.
Me.
mine's
I'd
5.
like to.
So
Yeah, so's mine.
Mine's pretty good. Mine's 75.
I rolled an
He's
88.
probably lying.
All right. I rolled. Oh, look at me. 34.
He's lying and he's not very good at it either.
Oh, he's so bad at it.
You guys all like.
Yeah.
as you guys
I know
all-
the neighborhood. There's no Danish settlement around
He
here.
says, "Fine, I am a scout." Well, no, you haven't caught him in his lie yet, so you can have him keep lying or do whatever you'd like.
Well, okay. I'd like to ask Eartha to tell him that does he realize that not only do we not go to hell for killing a pagan, actually it increases our chances. So either he can tell us what he's doing here, or else I will have Moira here squeeze his neck until his eyes pop out the front of his face.
Yeah, maybe
All
I'll
of
help
that.
curse my uncle.
Yeah, and Eartha knows that he's lying because there's no Danish town around here, and I can tell he's lying 100 feet off. So I'm gonna let Moira and encourage Moira to squeeze the heck out of him.
One more thing. We'll tell him that we'll make sure he dies without his sword in his hand, so he will not go to Valhalla.
His eyes get really big when you say
He'll go to
that.
hell.
And now he says,
God, get a new soul.
"Fine, I am a scout. I was sent from the Viking settlement to the southeast by my leader Yngvi to scout out your settlement. But I swear, I was going to advise that you're too fortified and too dangerous to attack. Now just please, let me go back to my people."
I bet you the Thane doesn't want us bringing another dude into his fresh
You
rushes.
didn't like
I
that.
can tell you this. I can tell you that this guy's a Viking, so his status in the settlement would be really dangerous. Like people could try to kill him again, or who knows what would happen. It would cause a big uproar.
Can I do an own kingdom roll to see if I know anything about Yngvi?
Yes, you may.
I don't have very good own kingdom. Oh, but I beat it, 28.
People stop at the monastery, and they tell you things about the countryside. And you know that if you follow the river Severn, which is here near Totberg, and you follow it kind of to the southeast into the Welsh lands, you don't have to travel very long before you hit a Viking settlement. And so far, all the Mercians have stayed well away from it because they don't want the Vikings to raid their village next or their monastery next. And the Vikings have thus far stayed close to the river and close to the coast, but they're not afraid to run inland a day or two and like hit a monastery or a settlement like Totberg that's a little farther away from the water. People steer clear of them.
Brother Edgefirth. My question is this: what do you think? Do you think that it is best that we send him back as a warning that we are too fortified that we can see through his lies, or do you think that we just kill him now?
I need to know more about this. Sorry to interrupt, but what's he know about the end of the world?
Okay, it's not the end of the world.
It might be the end of the world.
It might be the end of the world, but I don't think it is. But I was
Okay.
just.
Well, that's a good question. I think we have a third option, which is to turn him over to the Thane. He's a hostage and one who might be able to tell the Thane much about the makeup of Yngwi's forces. Do we need to send to Tamworth? the capital, for the king's guard to come down here and burn these Viking scum out of their riverside village.
Oh, do you think he'd let me be part of the raid?
I'm sure they'll always have use for someone with very strong hands.
Her hands are currently around the Viking's neck.
Right.
Yeah. That said, the other option is we could just snap his neck now and go about our business. Like I
Say
say,
the word.
we don't go to hell for killing pagans. It's sweet.
It's for Jesus.
He says, "Please, let me go back to my people. I swear you have my word as a warrior."
Well, all right. Swear it on
I
your
will not bring them
on the
back.
hammer. Swear us an oath.
Let me just roll to see how he feels about this. Very well. I swear on the hammer of Dunar that I will not bring my people back here. Please,
It
let me go.
It could be a lateral move, but I say we let him go. He could just have someone else lead his people back here.
Yeah. If he
But-
lies, then he will be an oath breaker, and then he'll be cursed more than all things.
By Grabthar's hammer. Yes.
I'm still holding his neck.
Come. It's time for the soft donkey hands. Pat him on the shoulder and send him on his way.
Do we want to see if he has any cash on him? Cash and prizes? Anyone?
Let's take his sword.
Okay.
I really want the sword.
Hey, he might need his sword.
All right, I grabbed the sword off
You
him.
can
and
walk. You
give him
can
a
walk home. from
tap
here.
on the bum as he walks shamefully.
What's his bum like?
his bum is tight. It's tight.
He's a professional soldier.
And
Makes
only
sense.
Moira feels that for a second when she slaps it.
And Eartha is very sad that she has not been involved with the Viking band.
He runs
There's probably
off,
still time.
he runs off in shame. And you think, well, that's a pretty cowardly Viking, but you know, they weren't all badass killers. So he runs off over the hillside, and now you must decide what you'd like to do next, my party. What is your next move? As this man runs off, you can see that he's taking a kind of a direction, a southeasterly direction, so he'll pass around the settlement.
Is that where he said he came from?
Do we need to go
It is.
to go back to the hill to see maybe if Iadis actually did see something, or should we get back into the fort for the night?
I think that's a good idea. Or alternatively, we could go to his church, which is probably inside the walls of the settlement. See if there's anyone there who can tell us what
That
he's been
feels
up
safe. We could
Yeah.
go look at his possibly non-existent papers.
to. Go through his accounts.
Yes,
You think he can read?
we don't know.
I should hope so. Well, actually, not all
I
priests
might
can
know.
read in these days.
I might know.
Actually, a monastery, a monk would probably be able to read, but a parish priest might not be able
You might
to.
have just learnt the phrases by rote.
That's right. Now, you can go to his church, and I'll just let you know as you re-enter the settlement. And by the way, the war band look even skeptically at Eartha this time because you're coming back very late, and they hate to have to open the doors for you, but they let you back in.
Bless, bless, bless. Just anytime I
It's so
encounter
scary
anyone,
out
I
there.
just bless
And-
them.
And you should know that there are two churches here in Totbur. So just
So that there's one to not go to? Why? Why are there two churches?
well, even though it's a small settlement, they can't fit 350 people in one church. So there are some people that go to the chapel in the Thanes compound. That's kind of the third church, and he has his own clergy for that. But only the real higher ups go to that one. And then there is one led by Iadis, who is kind of the young, kind of hip priest in
Youth-
Totbur.
Youth pastor.
Yeah, and then there's an older church, a humbler church made of wood on the other side of the settlement. Just putting it all out there so you guys know what your options are in terms of churches.
Let's go to the old wooden one, because if we can find his rival priest, he'll probably have the good dirt.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Oh, that's an excellent idea.
Let's go there.
Okay, you do that, and it is now evening, but there are, some torches, that have been hung in the streets, and there's a tiny bit of light. Watch out! You just burned yourself, Moira.
Yeah,
And-
it's the shadows too. It made me jump.
Right, and but they don't keep a lot of fire going because it's made of wood. And hey, this place. So you arrive at the wooden church, and it is a meager affair. And you can tell that it's very old, that it probably dates from when the settlement was founded in the last century. The year is 999, and it was founded in the 800s. So this is a very old church indeed, and it looks dark within, but you can knock and say hello.
Knock.
Knocky knock.
Knock, knock, knock.
And you know that the
And
priest...
I know the name of the guy, right?
Yes, his name is Halfdeen.
Oh, Halfteen, wake up.
He finally goes, "Why do you call upon me at this late hour?"
Yaris has had a fit, and he is still talking about the end times, and we're wondering what you could know about where he is getting this. What do you know about a Yaris these days?
I know the Yaris. He lusts after material things. He lusts after the pleasures of the flesh, and he says these things in order to gain more followers and more power in the settlement.
When did he start
We keep the
acting
real
in this
faith
way?
here. Around the time, it's recent, around the time that the Yule celebration started, 9 days ago or so.
9 days ago. And is
And
that
now you
significant?
all hear a scream, an old man's scream from inside the church. And Halfdeen looks as surprised as you are, and he's like, "Hygerd? Hygerd, is that you?"
Oh.
I'd like to barge past this old son of a bitch inside the church. Out of the way, old timer. But I'm not very strong, so I'm like,
I quickly
"Ugh."
push him, help push to make it look like Igfrith did it.
Yes, thank you, Moira. I break out in a muck sweat, even though it's really cold, because that much exertion is too much for me.
You
Good
pass
push.
through the main hall of the church and out into an area that looks like a stable, but it is not a stable. It is a small stone cell that has been erected and kind of like attached onto the side of the church, and it has a shuttered window in it, and you recognize it immediately as the cell of an anchorite. Anchorites were priests who engaged in hermetism in a very particular way to devote themselves totally to God. They would lock themselves in cells that they lived in for the rest of their life on Earth. And so it looks as if an anchorite dwells inside this stone cell on the side of the church, and you hear him moan again from within.
Do I know that there is an anchorite attached to this church?
You would, Eartha. You know that Hygerd the anchorite dwells in the old church here in Totbur, and you know that he, like many priests who would engage in, extreme acts of faith like this, he's a little crazy. He's a little strange. But many people in the settlement go to him for spiritual advice, and he gives it.
Okay. So why has he screamed? Can we tell?
Yes, can we see anything?
Would you like to open the shutters?
Yes. Again. Moira.
Let me get that for you. And
They're just
yank
wooden.
one off way too hard. It might fall off its hinges.
Yeah, it comes around, catches me. Ow, all right. Well,
You rip them open with tremendous power, Moira. But you didn't need to, because they're just shutters on the side. But what greets you is a scene of horror. For Hygerd, the old hermit, is laying on the ground with his wrist open, and blood has leaked out of it into a pool on the floor, and all over his cell he has scrawled things in his own blood in Latin. And upon seeing this, I need everybody to roll their sanity.
Oh, hell. Okay.
Oh, I failed.
Tip top.
66 on a 60.
What the hell is my sanity?
It is
The
It
circle
is-
number.
it's the circled number on your sheet that says
this
sanity
bit.
to the far right. Yeah,
Jackie,
What?
it's like
Oh.
here.
Underneath the picture?
Yeah.
that's right. Mhm.
Okay.
I stay sane.
It is equal to your power, Jackie, if you haven't circled it yet.
I have
So-
not.
Okay, so what's your power?
50?
Okay, let's circle 50 in the little sanity number chart there.
Okay.
And now you're going to try to roll under it. So who succeeded? Moira has seen worse in fights.
Oh, wow.
I do not. 62.
Okay. So the two of you that did not succeed are terrified by this, and you each lose 1 sanity.
No. Oh, it's not that bad.
Don't look.
Jackie, the way you would work this is you would erase the circle around 50 now, and then you would circle 49. And next time you roll sanity, you're trying to roll under a 49. So there he is, his life's blood leaking out. A man who has devoted his life to God and a spiritual life. His life's blood is leaking out onto the floor of his smelly little stone cell, but all over the walls he is scrawled in his own blood in Latin.
Can we ask if the what is his name? Hearth Maru? No,
this guy's name is Hygard, the man that's dying on the floor.
Not the man dying on the floor. The old
Halfteen.
Halfteen. That's it.
And when he sees this, he also rolls his sanity, and he does fine.
Hey, Trick, you speak these words, don't you? You know
He's
words and language.
I can read and write in Latin.
Oh, can you?
Oh yeah.
As well.
What is your skill in Latin, my friend?
55, baby.
It's
pretty
scrawled
good.
sort of messily. Would you please roll your Latin?
I will, but perhaps it is the darkness or the horror or something. But I rolled a 77. So even though I speak the language, I'm like, I don't know what it says.
Halfteen, what does it say?
Here's what I'm going to allow. I'm going to allow you to do what I call succeeding at a cost. You can read what this says, but there's going to be a little bit of a cost for you. Do you want that to happen?
Sure, I'm into it because I want to know what he said. It's
Cthulhu,
better be good.
Reading in Cthulhu, always a terrible idea.
Yeah.
Oh
what if he's just like, oh, it's cold in here? Oh, is that
yeah. Sick of this. Leaving. The only way I know how. No, he has written in Latin, "The old ones awaken," and he has also written, "The black and moldy spirits of the earth shall rise," and that is when you make an additional sanity roll.
That's what that other fella said. 19. I smashed it. I don't give a shit.
Okay, you're okay. You don't lose any additional sanity for that. That was the cost that I was giving you, was a double jeopardy with your sanity, but you're
fair
okay.
enough.
And yes, you've already heard the news, the bad news, as opposed to the good news that is Jeebus.
Jesus Christ, our Lord said it.
Halfdene goes, "Why would he do this?
Do I have a cult? Can I roll a cult to figure out who the black and
go to hell?" You may roll a cult, but I'm going to tell you that in order to get this reference on an occult roll,
yeah,
you're going to need a extreme success. So when we do hard or extreme rolls, we know that a hard roll is half your skill points, and a extreme roll is a 1/5 of your percentages.
So I would have to roll under a 10%.
That's right, but you're welcome to try.
Wow! I rolled a 9.
Are you joking? All right.
009, my friends.
check your occult.
Check it. Okay.
Yes. And for some reason, somehow, you have picked up on lots of apocrypha, and you have picked up on a lot of eschatology. Am I pronouncing that right? Eschatology. Eschatology. Thank you, Mr. Carr. Enough to know about things about the end of the world and the apocalypse. And you have heard tales that when the world ends, these black spirits will come out of the earth and reap the souls who are dying in the end times.
But that's all I know. That's it is not good news. It is and I tell my fellow conspirators this fun fact, and sadly I don't know how to stop it, because I think that's all I've got, right?
Yes.
I could throw rocks at it. That's all I got.
It's an interesting.
What? Yeah, we'll put that on the list. Maybe call
Think
that
about
Plan
Eartha.
C.
Eartha's a big peacemaker. You know, she's been living with her druid faith among the Christians for so long. She's like, good idea. I don't know if it'll work. Worth the try.
Halfdeen says, I was about to turn in for the night, but now I shall spend the eve digging an unmarked grave for this man who is currently burning in the bowels of hell.
Yeah, it's purgatory first, and then hell, baby.
So it would be time for all good little Christians or people that kind of keep low key as to their paganism to go to bed in the settlement. But if you guys want to run around in the darkness, waking up more people, you are more than happy. You're more than welcome.
Moira doesn't like the dark.
I think maybe we wait. Maybe there's something bad, sure, but nothing worse than darkness. So I say maybe we go to Eartha's hut.
And we all kind of cozy up in my hut and see what's up with Iardis.
He is, when you get there, he is awake and he is sitting on one of your meager chairs, and he looks up at all of you and he goes, hello.
Iardis, how do we stop the end times? You were speaking in tongues a little bit there.
Did you not hear my sermon? I believe that the Danes have awakened the old gods. The Danes bring the old gods from the south.
Yeah.
I can't think about it too long. I lose control.
Are you
We
saying
let one go. Is that bad?
Say again?
Well, we had Dane, and then we let him go back, but he swore, and I got his sword, and it's a real nice sword.
Where? Oh, he sees the
It's
Danes
on my
sword.
back, is where I
You
took
had
it.
your hands on one of them, and you let him go? My
Yeah,
God.
no, well, your people about to hang him.
we thought it was the Christian thing to do?
I've seen a Dane with a great white beard full of snakes and an eye on his chest. He calls forth the old gods. He will bring the black spirits of the earth.
Wait, how do we?
No,
Oh,
no. This one wasn't like that. His beard it's just a trim beard, and his bum was very firm.
He had a fit.
yeah.
Did the one with the beard in your dreams? Did he have a tight bum? Did he have a tight bum?
That was his bum.
He's already back in his
Trying to shake you.
his trance.
Let me take over the shaking. You're not shaking him very
Yeah, I'm
hard.
too tired. I sit down in the corner.
Moira shakes him thoroughly. And
Do I have a potion? Do I have a potion I can throw at him?
Oh, you know what? You probably do. Why don't you roll your potions and see?
I got a 70 of my potions.
Yeah.
Damn.
And I got a 74. It turns out I spilled it all over his face.
But here's what I want you to do. This is a guy you've probably been making potions for his whole life. This is so I want you to roll what we call a bonus die. I want you to roll one more tens die and see if that one is successful. If that gets you under your skill. These are all the little extra rules in Cthulhu. So do you understand what I'm saying? Take a tens die and roll it again and see if you get a better result. That's what we do when we have a bonus die.
Okay. Ooh, yeah, 40%.
Great. Okay, you feed him one of your poultices that you make especially for people who have fits and trances that they go into, and it calms his nerves again. And now you all can ask him questions if you want.
So do we need to get a new Dane? And how would that stop the old gods?
I don't know. I just know that I haven't slept in days. The dreams keep me awake at night. I know that the old gods are coming from the south and that the Danes have brought them. That's all I know.
So we must go south, is what you say, if we are to find the root of this evil.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
I mean, working on the
Anybody
assumption
have
that there's anything to this evil.
Right. And do you have a compass? Which way south? Interesting.
Yeah, they might not even have them at this time.
No,
I
I
think they
don't-
navigate it by the stars.
I know, because the sun. I could tell you when it's morning. That's the one thing I got.
That's yeah.
Hey, I've got a question for you, Yerdis.
Yes.
So if I wanted to curse my uncle, do you know any good Christian natural magic? Maybe you could put a curse on an uncle.
That's curses are not There's
Yes.
nothing.
It's a good
Curse.
Christian curse.
I heard the Dane with the white beard in my dreams, intoning a curse. Yes, yes.
Write this down, Edford.
It awakened a beast, miles tall. I saw it turn its eyes upon us.
That's not my uncle.
Iatis, you've buried the lead. There's a very tall beast coming. What's happening? Okay. So we go
I
south,
think
but
he's
we
out.
should bring the sword, I say. But
Let's tool up.
and then how do
So,
we?
are we planning on going south, and where to the south are we planning on going?
Well,
Southeast, towards the town off the river Setberg. I think this settlement has some answers.
Are you
can
saying the Viking settlement off of the River Severn?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Okay, I understand.
can I use do another own kingdom roll to get a sense of like knowing the geography of where this is? It's not
Yes,
too
you
far
may.
away
Yes,
from where
you
I
may. Absolutely.
live.
Mm-hmm.
I rolled a 38 against a 35. Do I just spend 3 luck to make that roll, or how does the luck system work?
I like for the luck to be spent ahead of time, but what I will allow is I'll allow you to do it this time. I'll bend the rules a little bit. So spend those 3 luck.
Don't ask, don't get.
The
Spend
favor
those
of
3 luck,
gold.
and you recently looked over the maps, and what you found was that this from Totbur, this Viking settlement will be about 2 days traveling along the river.
Oh, I don't have much time. They said the
Well,
world
2
ends in 4
days.
days.
What if we make a raft? Maybe we can get there faster.
Perhaps
true.
we could ask the Thane to send us in one of the. Well, no, this Topper is not on the river, is it?
The Viking settlement is on the. It's like
But
out along the estuary.
Topper, where we are.
Totbur is a little bit of a walk to the river.
Yeah. So our local Thane doesn't necessarily have a.
I can carry a boat
Ship.
better than I can.
Actually, I mean,
Build a
there are. It's not that far. There are fishermen here. Yes, that go out to their boats. You know, the river's just a little ways away. They go out to their boats. They fish and
Well,
bring their
perhaps
catch back.
we could find a helpful local fisherman who, in return for
Is
his
there a
eternal
way?
soul,
So
take us down there.
the Severn River and the Viking settlement are both southeast, right?
That's correct. The river will lead southeast.
Okay.
Out
So the
to
river is
Bristol
right
town.
nearby, and and yes, you will follow it southeast, and yes, you certainly in the morning, or if you'd like to wake them up right now, you can go and find one of the fishermen. Earth is aware of fishermen that live here in the settlement.
I'm
Right,
not going
but-
out anymore. I'm staying right here.
Right. I say because the fishermen will be going to the river anyway in the morning, so we go with them in the morning. What do you think about that?
Yeah, let's
Fun.
go to sleep now and then rise early.
Okay,
Okay,
Very
I
good.
fall immediately asleep.
great. It's pretty uncomfortable because not to throw shade Earth's way, but it's a humble, modest abode. But you're all kind of sleeping in wooden chairs or on hay on the floor, on rushes on the floor. But the fire is warm, and everybody is able to go off to sleep. And could each of you tell me
I'm
what
the
your
little spoon. I'm the little
I
spoon.
was just gonna say, you all wake up and
Oh, no one wakes up yet because there's business before dawn. Who has the highest power?
I have 50.
60.
Edgeforth got it. I'm 35.
Very good. Edgefrith,
I'm powerful.
would you please roll a D6 for me? Do you have a D6?
I do.
I can
yeah.
roll it for you if you don't have one.
No, I've got one here with a Cthulhu sigil on it
Ah! Okay, great.
because I'm a baller.
Roll down.
Oh dear, I just rolled a ball in 2.
A ball and 2. Okay, so
Low
all
is
of you
good,
are
right?
sleeping soundly. And Edgefrith, you have a dream. And in your dream, you feel and
It's my
see the cold waters of the River Severn being parted by the prow of a Viking longboat. And standing in the prow, there is a Dane with a white beard. And there is a black and sinister aura about this Dane. How to explain, like the second you see him, you feel as if maybe you are looking upon the devil himself, because the aura of just power and intense evil that rolls off of him makes you shudder. And
Clancy would like to know: is it Snakebeard?
well, Clancy, listen to the rest of the dream and make your own conclusions. Around the neck of this Dane is an amulet depicting an eye. And as you watch, the eye blinks, and when it does that, suddenly snakes slither up out of his beard and hiss at you, and you awaken, and you roll your sanity again, Edgefrith.
By the way, in the background, I didn't see that other Dane that we let go, in the boat, being like, "It's this way."
You did not. You did not.
Good news. I rolled a sensational 99.
Wow, that's not good. That's
critical
bad.
failure.
You take a D3 of sanity loss, and I have a D3 right here. One more sanity loss.
That seems like an amazing result for a 99 roll.
Someone is running at you with a knife across a football field, and every day you look up, go, "Oh my God, he's still running at me."
Soon, you are unable to sleep after that, and it takes hours for the blue light of dawn to slowly kind of creep in through the windows and sort of start to light your companions with its kind of blue glow. And soon you hear the cock crow again, and it is morning. And
I shake him awake.
The feeling of horror finally leaves you. Yes.
I shake him awake. I'm like, "We must go."
I'm holding Eartha as my little spoon, and I'm very difficult to awaken.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God. Moira! Moira!
Right.
Myra! I end up kicking Moira quite hard in the spine, and then pretending it was only
kick her
doing
pretty hard.
This is how my aunts used to sleep. Let's get up. Let's get up.
Okay.
Cool.
Everybody is awake. Everybody, is there anything that they would like to take with them or grab, or anything you want to tell me before you go and run and find a fisherman to ask him to take you to the southeast?
Lembus.
All right. You can pack some food. Eartha, do you want to pack some bread and some things like that?
Yeah, just some food. And...
So,
what's Father Yadis doing at this stage? Has he woken up with us as well?
He has, and he's like,
does he want to come?
I don't know. I fear what might happen to me.
I have a task for you, Father. A task that will help us out greatly. You must lead poor Bioka, my donkey, back to the monastery, and there you shall rest and have succor, and have mead and honey and bread, and I don't know, whatever it is you want. That's nice.
He stands up to his full height. About it's less than your height.
Yeah,
He says,
I'm big.
"Do I look like a child to you? Do not presume to order me around, monk. When you took your vows, your noble heritage was stripped from you, and you and I are equals, and I am the one God has spoken to. I will stay here, and I will commune with my followers and help them in these end times."
You are the one that has spoken heresy, Father. If
I'll
I were
kill
you, I
him.
would not be so proud.
I'll kill him
No.
if you want.
It's not for us to do that, but believe you me, a judgment is coming upon you, Father.
He says,
One that may be ameliorated by you taking my donkey back to where I live.
he says, "A judgment is coming for all of us." And then he looks to Eartha and he says, "Thank you for your help, Eartha, again."
What are we, fucking chopped liver? We help you too, mate.
He leaves.
She carried you everywhere.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
I'm really hoping that he doesn't get possessed and then try to kill us all. But let us go. And why so, Egfrith? Why so earnest to get the heck out so quick? Tell us of your dream.
Oh, I see. Yes, apologies. In the night, I saw it. I saw him, the Norseman with the burning eye and the snakes for a beard. He's coming.
Not the one with the bum?
Should we?
No, but I didn't see him, and I kept my eyes peeled.
Can I send a boy to the Thane to tell him to protect the fort with his soldiers, and that the boat's coming, and that we're going to go to the river to meet the bad guy?
Yes, and tell him to send a rider to Tamworth to send down the house carls.
Okay, this is interesting.
Maybe he'll let those guards come with us, the 2 guards at the entrance. Maybe we could use, a little more muscle.
Okay, these are all great ideas. So first, we're telling the Thane. What are we sending the message to him? What is exactly the message?
That we have heard tell of a
war band.
A war band that's coming on the river from a Viking on the Severn.
But it's unnatural.
An army is coming toward us down the river.
You actually grab one of you grab the boy that took your mule earlier. You see him running along the street doing the Thane's business, and you tell him to run back and tell the Thane that a war band is coming from the southeast. That you have managed to figure that out, and now Edgefrith says he's sending a messenger to Tamworth to the king.
To the
Is
king,
that correct? Okay.
Yes.
So I need you to roll. Take time. You need to find someone. You need to roll status. Yeah, to buy that. Yeah, to buy a messenger who will go for you.
16, baby.
16. Wow, that's amazing. You find in the marketplace, which is just kind of opening up, you find a man who will do.
I recognize a man.
You recognize a man. Yes, exactly.
He's from Ulster, where I'm from.
He's from your hometown.
He used to serve my father.
He says, does the Thane know about this?
Listen to me, Stjopper, because that's your name.
Stjopper. Great.
Yeah. The Thane has been warned, but you must go to Tamworth and tell him the Vikings are back. They're coming up the Severn River, and you know what they'll bring with them. Fire, the sword.
He hops onto a horse, which was right there, and he says, I'll go right away, Edgefrith. Pray to your God for us.
I grasp my necklace, which I'm like, this is the finger of Saint Offa, and I'm like, I'm praying double hard, mate, for you. So God speeds your hand.
I didn't know that you had the finger of Saint Offa.
Don't. It's a piece of wood that's painted to look like a finger, but it works pretty well on the folk.
You told me it was real finger. I always thought
you didn't hear that. You'd sing it one of your nice songs, all right.
You meet some of the war band who are kind of standing on the battlements, Moira, and you said that you wanted them to go with you. Is that true?
Yeah, maybe we'd give him some coin. Maybe if they could keep Edgefrith safe. He's important to me and to God.
Well, the leader of the Hearthwaru walks forward. His name is Fine, and he says, I need my people here to guard the settlement. Is this a true emergency?
Yeah, no, that's defense. This is offense. See, they're coming for you, but you got to bring the fight to them. You see what I'm saying? It's war games. It's better.
I like what you're saying because you didn't tell him that it's a magical catastrophe. You told him things he might believe. So why don't you go ahead and give me a persuade roll?
Okay. No. 95 out of 15.
He says, be gone with you, stranger. I will not send members of my war band out to die alone with a monk and a cunning woman and a hideous shield maiden. And he walks away.
Ooh, I like him.
You're attracted to him. So he's much too old for you. All right. So so do we want to find this fisherman?
Yeah, so we just go to where the fishermen. I assume the fishermen go each morning, even during Yule, to try to get some fish, and so they have their poles and their whatnots, and they're heading toward the river.
Okay. I will just tell you that as you're walking, a woman that you know grabs you by your sleeve, Eartha. She is the wife of Madolf the Potter, and she's like, Eartha, I'm worried about my husband. Can you come and see him? Now, you guys, time is of the essence, but you can take this detour if you'd like, or you can say not now.
Oh, what?
We don't have time, Eartha.
Right? Does he have hypochondria? What's Madolf the Potter like? What's his jam?
There's something wrong with him.
Oh, is he? He isn't having to have nightmares, is he? I'll take a moment to ask him. Well, we're going to deal with the nightmare, so I don't think what I would say is you must tie him down, is what I will say to the wife of Madolf the Potter.
And cut off his tongue.
Well, no,
don't do that. She is not a trained medical professional.
You want to.
It's,
but hired muscle.
He will try to kill himself because he might be slightly possessed by a demon. I don't say that. What I do is I do say you should tie him down because he might have the seizures because there's a bad nightmare going around. Just keep him safe for the next, I would say, 6 to 8 hours.
Perhaps we might learn something from him, though.
Oh, really? Nightmare's contagious.
No, I think that our friend Eartha has told her to go off and tie her up.
Tie him up.
You can so that's what you've done. I like that.
That's right. And we've gotten the news. We've gotten the news about the nightmare from Egfrith. So I'm pretty sure that the guy who was a hermit in with the shutters that aren't there anymore, the anchorite guy, we got the scoop. What happens now is we got to go confront the bad guys. Did I bring any decent potions that might have like acid or like a weapony kind of potion? Do I have any of that?
Acid. You brought a plastic explosive and you brought no. I mean, why don't we? When you need that potion and you know what it is, maybe we'll roll potions to see if you brought it. But
right,
it's enough for me now that you said I brought some potions with me.
I brought some potions with me.
Now, what I do want to tell you is that as you all walk out of the settlement, as you are going to head toward the river where the fishermen have their boats, I want you to know that all around you hear sobs and wails coming up from various houses in the settlement. And as you pass the market, you see two good free men just shouting at each other and smashing each other's stalls. Totbur is quickly
a powder keg.
It's a powder keg. But soon you find a fisherman that you know, and he's standing by his boat just kind of looking around at the other boats near the river, which haven't been manned. The fishermen haven't gone out to he's the only one there, and he's kind of standing there looking confused. And his name is Offgood.
My son, we would like to hire you to aid us on a journey. We will pay good coin.
Well, where are we going?
We'll go downriver towards Bristol.
And when will we be coming back?
Sorry, say again, mate.
And when will we be coming back?
2 or 3 days' time.
Is your coin good?
As good as it comes. Why, it comes from the very mint up here on the hill. Would you say that the Thane's coin is no good? I don't think he'd like to hear that.
No, I believe you. You're going to see the Danes, aren't you?
We are. We're going to treat with them.
Well then, I suppose we better get going.
And
he hops into his boat. And he tells you all to hop in with him.
Hop.
All right.
That's the noise of me hopping in.
So.
And the boat.
Careful, your ankles are so thin.
Sails out. Yes, his thin ankles.
I'm folded up like a praying mantis in the boat.
The boat slides out onto the river Severn as the morning kind of mist is coming up from it, and you start sailing off to the southeast. And that is where we will end today with our adventure. Next time, will Edgefrith, Eartha, and Moira be able to stop the end of the world that is coming with the rising of the moldy black spirits of the earth by confronting the Danes in their settlement to the southeast? We will find out in our next and perhaps final chapter of Cthulhu Dark Ages. I'm going to allow the people that checked skills to go ahead and upgrade their character. And the way this works is you're going to make another roll on that skill, but this time you want to roll above it. And if you roll above it, that means you have improved it. So do that, and I'll tell you how much you improve it by.
Oh, yeah. I've improved throwing.
Okay, so you rolled above your throw skill just now. And now, because you have done that, Becca, you can roll a single D10 and add that to your throw skill.
I rolled above occult.
Oh, great.
Do I also roll a d10?
Roll a single d10, and whatever the result is, add that to your occult skill.
All right. I rolled a 60, but that's a 6, right? So 25 to 31.
That's right. Yeah, that's exactly right. And I want you to also know, Becca, that you've got that nasty spear. You can throw that thing. That's a throwable weapon. So improving your throw is kind of cool
Spears
for
are
you.
for.
Yeah.
That's nasty.
Oh, I rolled above my status too. My status, and
Oh,
so
yeah.
again with the d10.
Yeah.
All right, another 7, so 47.
So you came in, you took charge, you took charge in this situation, and now the people of the village of Totbur, they respect you more. And did Edgefrith, did you check any skills?
I didn't. I don't think there was anything where I produced a particularly mighty roll at a key moment.
Well,
I just played very safe. Just lots of beating it by a couple of percentage points.
Unfortunately, Humphrey, the only thing you did was add immense layers of atmosphere and verisimilitude to the Dark Ages setting. So thank you so much for doing that.
Too kind. I mean, I introduced into the canon Bioka the mule.
Yeah.
Bioka the mule, who I think is going to be a key character in part 2. I really feel like
I presume that he's going to arrive right in the nick of time. He will bring the king and the king's housecarls to clear out this nest of.
You never know when I
Danish
need a
swine.
mule to solve the scenario for me.
Deus ex mulina.
Mulina,
right.
exactly. Yeah, it was invented during this period, Deus ex mulina. Guys, I just want to say thank you so much again.
Cool.
Be
I've
sure.
got a little Saxon man here. Sorry,
beautiful.
Just to show
Is that
you.
your dude?
Oh,
It's an actual Saxon. That's not me. I mean, this is probably my father or my brother.
well, that's actually the guy that just
doing
told
such a
Moira.
bad job.
That's the guy that just told Moira to fuck off. Actually,
Right.
Here's my cunning woman.
I just want to say thank you to my players, and that we will be back here at 1:30 Pacific time next Sunday to get the second half and the finale of the story, where things are going to get real crazy. And I also want to say that some of the maps we used and some of the information that we used comes from the Cthulhu Dark Ages book. That is from Chaosium, is the company. Go to www.chaosium.com and buy the book. And the people that wrote this material are Chad Bowser and Andy Newton. So I created the adventure, but some of the setting things, Chad Bowser and Andy Newton wrote that book. They wrote a great book. It's a great role-playing book. And then also the maps are by Stephanie McAlley. So just letting everybody know who did that incredible work that we flashed up there for a second. And thanks again to my players. We'll see you in 1 week. 3 days till the end of the world, but 1 week till we play again.
Great job, Jarrett. This is so much fun.
Yes, thank you. And
Thanks.
great work, everybody else.
Yeah, great
Nice
work.
meeting you guys again.
So fun.
Bye-bye, guys. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye. And that's it, SOBs. Thanks for being here. Just also want to remind you that our next chapter of Vampire the Masquerade will be happening on Wednesday at 6 p.m. Pacific time. Oh, here's Guy Branham. I'm very late during post-show Q&A. Can I get a recap? Oh, Guy, you would be so fantastic in this game. So maybe we'll play another game of Cthulhu the Dark Ages with Guy Branham, who knows all about matrilineal succession and Salic law. Guy, the recap is that there was a heretic priest here in Totbur preaching about the end of the world, but is he a heretic, or does he know something strange is going on? People are receiving weird dreams that are driving them mad, and the answer may be to the south at a Viking settlement that our 3 characters have headed off toward to kind of solve the mystery. So in the second half, we're going to be tangling with some Vikings. I don't think that there are any more questions. So just remember, Vampire on Wednesday at 6 p.m. And we'll see you back here for more Cthulhu 1:30 next Sunday. And thank you guys so much. Bye-bye.